Hello, everybody, and welcome into another edition of On the Record presented by CalledIt. I'm your host, Andy Burke, and we are happy, as always, to be with you for about the next 30 minutes and change as we discuss some of the biggest topics in the sports world, particularly the World Cup 2026. It's been a thrilling tournament so far, and the excitement continues on today. Helping me dissolve all of the information regarding that, Maya Campion will be joining us live up in the Pacific Northwest. And then on the East Coast, we got Joey Vitale, a.k.a. Joey Roast Beef. The dynamic duo is back in the mix, and we'll pick their brain and get their thoughts on some of today's biggest matchups. Now, of course, one of those matchups is going to revolve around the daily call, which is what the team at CalledIt delivers each and every day, one trade that they're putting on the record. They're going to put everything on the line there for not only the daily call, but the challenge that we call the run, where we look to turn $250, combine it over and over and over, continue to roll it, ladder it up, however you want to frame it, but try to flip it all the way into $1 million. So the first trade of this specific run, because we have had plenty more, but some of them have gone a lot farther. But now we're on trade number 2, because yesterday it did come through. So Brazil winning by the goal and a half on the spread against Scotland. That was the play, and that trade came through. So now the pot, as you can see up in the corner of the screen, is up to $510. All of that will be invested in a trade that is in today's matchup between Germany and Ecuador. So that will be the focus of the daily call. Additionally, we'll have some other interesting topics to discuss. How about this USA team? Is this going to go down as one of the best men's national team? Very curious, Joe and Maya's thoughts on that. And then we can also get into some fun trades and unique ones about their stage of elimination and really what their ceiling is for this tournament. And then we'll cap things off with another sort of GOAT debate, potential GOAT debate if Mbappe stays on this trajectory, which of course everybody expects. Him versus Messi. Just thoughts overall on the head-to-head, but specifically, if you think one versus the other will just completely dominate in terms of the most goals, because you can trade on that right now at Kalshi. You can also trade on them to tie. So a lot of fascinating markets to jump into, and we will have all of that covered here on the record. But let's go ahead and bring in our guests. Let's start with the woman who does have boots on the ground. She's been attending these games, and I know she's been having an absolute blast. Maya Campion at Maya.pitchside is where you can catch all of her content on Instagram. Maya, we hear you are posted up in the Pacific Northwest, there in Seattle, getting ready for another game tomorrow. How's everything been so far in this trip and this journey you've had over on the stateside?
It's been hectic, 5 a.m. wake ups to drive from Austin to Dallas. It's 100% been worth it, though. It's been absolutely incredible. Yesterday was the game that marks the halfway point of the World Cup. So, it was devastating. I don't want it to be over. It's been great so far. Seattle is beautiful. And, just trying to soak up every game.
Yeah, I believe it. I mean, yeah, again, I'm envious here in Chicago, wishing I could get in on some of the action, but I'm glad you're able to partake. And so tomorrow then, you'll have Iran and Egypt as your next game, correct?
Exactly. Iran, Egypt. Yes.
Awesome. Can't wait. We'll have to get your insights since, again, we love putting in trades and we have a member of our own with their boots on the ground. So we'll have to get your analysis for that matchup a little bit later. But that is Maya Campion, folks, live in the Pacific Northwest. And then out on the East Coast, we got Joey Roast Beef, baby. He's posted up. And Joe, I know you went to a World Cup game the other day. Is that correct?
Sir. Yeah, France, Iraq. And I'll tell you what, those fans, these European fans and Middle Eastern fans really brought the energy. We had an hour and 45-minute rain delay, and these fans did not stop singing, chanting, yelling, jumping, chugging beers. It was the best hour and 45-minute rain delay I've ever been in my life.
Oh, I love it, man. I love it, man. Did you come out profitable for that game? Were you putting on some trades on the side?
Yes, I had Mbappe 2 goals like the rest of the world, so
how could you not?
That goalie kind of kicked that ball around in the front, and he was right there. It was perfect.
Oh, excellent, man. We love to hear that. Again, you can follow Joe on X at JoeBusiness273 on X. Guys, let's go ahead and jump right into it, shall we? Let's get into the daily call that the team at CalledIt has made. And once again, it is revolving in this matchup between Ecuador and Germany. Ecuador needs a win here. They absolutely are desperate for it. They had the draw and then they had the loss. It's been a very disappointing outcome for them thus far. Germany, on the other hand, well, they're looking for their third straight win. They beat Curacao 7-1, and then they overcame Ivory Coast a little bit sweatier than it probably should have been, but 2-1 was the outcome for Germany in that spot. As you can see at Kalshi right now, Germany, the heavy favorite, trading at 64%. The draw just dropped from 20 to 19%. Ecuador also at 19%. But if you look at the right side, and if you're subscribed to CalledIt.media.com, all you do is enter your email and you get the call ahead of time before we hop on here on the record. A lot of times you can beat the market and you get full analysis. It's a great way to get involved, and you also get probabilities and tools from the website, and you can voice your own opinion. A lot of fun things happen in there, so that's why we implore you to head to the website, but especially because of this reason. So the daily call was given out for Germany and Ecuador to go over 2.5 goals, traded at 56%. Now, CalledIt believes the true chances are at 59%. As you can see on the screen, it's minus 161 American odds, which comes out to a percentage of 60%. That's what it's trading at. So if you do enter your email, you can get a lot better numbers than what's being dished out right now. And this doesn't happen every time, but it has happened a majority of the time that the team has dished out their top trades. But that's what they're riding with today. That's what they're putting the $510 on. And Maya, will kick it to you. Over 2.5 goals with Ecuador and Germany. The team loves it. Do you love it today?
I have to say, Danny, that I'm against CalledIt. Usually I'm with them, but
Okay.
this one, and I get why the model lands at that number. There's a lot of pressure on Ecuador, and on the surface, it feels like a game that should open up. But Germany can lose this and still be top. And when you actually dig into the data, I'm not convinced. I mean, Germany's defensive numbers throughout this tournament have been really impressive. Goals conceded, target, shots allowed, defensive shape. They've been one of the tightest units in this competition. And that matters because a well-organized German side, they don't need to throw players forward and leave that space. They can be patient, they can be methodical, and they can win this 1-0 without it ever becoming a game. And Ecuador, on the other hand, the defensive block has been one of the most disciplined we've seen. It's very compact, it's very low. They make the pitch very, very small. I mean, teams consistently have struggled to create high quality chances against them. It's not just that they're hard to beat, it's that they actively suppress the volume of goals in the games they're involved in. So I think that when you look at the underlying defensive metrics from both teams, they're pointing in the opposite direction. And I think the model may be overweighing the narrative slightly. But what we're gonna have to see. I think that it's a risky call, and it would be great if it goes through. So I really do hope it does for CalledIt.
Yeah, Joe, two different nations striving in different directions. How do you see it?
Yeah, so I'm going with the call here. I'm going with the over 2.5. Yes, Maya said it perfectly. The narrative is, Ecuador has to win. They're going to play loose and fast, and Spain doesn't have to win. They can kind of be willy-nilly. Everybody knows this. Spain's scored 9 goals this World Cup. Everybody's talked about Ecuador's offensive struggles, 0 goals this far, not beating Ivory Coast like they should have in the first game. They have struggled offensively in these first 2 games. The key word there is 2 games. Nobody thought they would struggle this offensively in the World Cup this far. Now, game script. Yes, Maya said the game is going to be tight because that's how Spain plays defense. They might not have to play that type of tight defense. They might want to try a more midfield controlling type game, slow it down. We know Spain's going to get a goal or 2. The issue is, will Ecuador score a goal? And I think they will rest back to that mean of scoring some goals. And I see this game being a 2-1 Spain game or a 3-1 Spain game.
Germany, by the way, of course, Joe.
Germany, sorry.
You're good.
Okay. And Nagelsmann has said that he's keeping his starters in the field for this game. And I quote, "We have not played enough games together." So in a lot of these non-needed win third games of the World Cup, you may see many more backups in. For Germany, we're not going to see that today. We're going to see the starters. These are prime athletes, and they're not going to be like, we don't need to win and just turn off that switch. These elite athletes don't have that turnoff switch. If they're on the pitch, they're playing as hard as they can. And they're not going to be like, nah, I'm not going to kick this goal. They're going to want to score.
Yeah. Oh, it's fascinating, Maya. I just want to say really quick. I mean, like I'm torn because there's the old adage, if it's a must-win game, you must not be very good. So that does scare me a little bit in trusting a team like Ecuador to tack on goals against a prolific team like Germany. On the other side, Joe brings up a good point. They're going to keep their foot on the pedal, but maybe that's just something the coach says because that's just what you say. So I lean toward the over. I think I'm going to go with the call here, but certainly, like you kind of said, Maya, it's a bold, it's a risky call. They all are, but this one in particular kind of feels that way because of the unknowns with the motivation from Germany. So I guess, I'll go with the call here. I got the CalledIt shirt repping right here. Like we always joke, I'm the company man here out of the three, so I'll side with them, but I do feel a bit uncertain about it. But Maya, what's your retort to what Joe was saying?
Yeah, I think that managers, they always say, oh, we're going to put our best team forward. You're not going to say, you've brought an elite group of athletes. You should never say that there are ones that you prefer to put on than others. It's that you want Ecuador to prepare for the strongest team that you put forward. But I mean, the amount of games that these players are playing and the heat, all these things, and especially getting to this part of the tournament when now it's knockout, Germany, they don't need it. They're top already. I just don't think that there's going to be that kind of pressure and that kind of urgency from Germany. They have the luxury to be able to sit back, and it really is not going to make a difference either way for them. They know Ecuador really needs that win. So that's my perception of how Germany is going to set up for the game.
Yeah. Go ahead, Joe. If there's anything else,
I think if Spain scores a goal early, I think Ecuador is going to get even more fast and loose, and maybe it's 3-0, and because the transition happens so fast, because they're just throwing shots in there, and the transition from Spain just is on top of it. Yeah, I still like the over call here.
All right. Over 2.5. You heard it. Joe likes over 2.5 with Germany and Ecuador. Maya's thinking that because Germany's got their fate solidified, don't really need to keep your foot on the pedal there. But CalledIt does think they are going to, or at least maybe Ecuador will enough, having that urgency to go over 2.5 goals again. This is trading at a chalky price now, 60%, coming out to minus $1.61 American odds. I also will be siding with the over 2.5. I've gotten burned on the past couple of unders here on this program, so maybe I've conditioned myself now to actually not wanting to root against human achievement. Maybe I can sit down and hope we get some action, but I am a sucker for unders, Maya. So, maybe deep down I'm kind of rooting for your underlook, but nevertheless, we are at least hoping the run, for the sake of the run, $510 pot, trying to get the trade number 3. That's what CalledIt will be putting all of that on, is over 2.5 goals with Ecuador and Germany. Guys, let's talk about an interesting topic here that inevitably, it's going to get brought up, and that's just about the legacy of this United States men's team. I mean, they've been outstanding to start this run so far, and there's a lot of expectation. You're a host country, right? There's a lot of pressure. You're the United States. There's been disappointment in the past, but with this hot start and with the potential to come, people are starting to murmur about whether or not this may go down as the best national United States team. Do you guys think that is worthy of a discussion this early on? Maya, I want to kick it to you first, kind of from the outside United States perspective. I mean, obviously 2002, that team is widely considered the best, reaching quarterfinals out in South Korea and Japan. But I mean, is this even worthy of having this discussion yet this early on?
Yeah, I think that the general consensus is people are happy for the host nations to do well. Obviously, it contributes a lot to the environment and atmosphere that you have in the cities that are hosting. And I think that most people are, probably Americans too, are pleasantly surprised and kind of excited about what this team is doing. I think the talent is undeniable. The performances that they've had have been really genuinely exciting. They're top of the group. Pochettino has them playing, looks like real structure and confidence. And my thought process is, the group stage opponents were Paraguay, Australia, solid sides, but neither is going to trouble the top tier of the tournament. And I think the real test is going to come when they hit the knockout rounds. If you look at the bracket, and how things, are supposed to go, or how I can predict them to go, they're likely to play Bosnia, which I think that they could win that. And then they'll play Egypt or South Korea, which, always also a chance of beating them. And then they'll play Spain or Portugal. So I think that Spain or Portugal, it's probably, where the road ends for them. I think what gives me optimism is the way that they set up tactically. Pochettino has them disciplined. They're hard to break down, and they're not just relying on individual moments. There's an actual like defensive solidarity that previous US sides really lacked. And I think Balogun at this level, in this form, home soil, he's capable of winning a knockout game on his own. So I think that they'll make it to, I see you have it up there. I think they'll make it to the quarterfinal. I think they'll make it competitive. Who knows? They might like nick it on the night, but going beyond that consistently against the quality that's going to await them, I just don't see it yet for this generation. But that's not to say, that it's not a very, very high quality US team. For me, quarterfinal is the call. I think it's going to be so exciting to watch, but that's where the journey will end.
Yeah, quarterfinals 31%, round of 16 24%, plus 295 American odds, round of 32 plus 330, semifinals plus 489, runner up plus 1772, same thing. It's the outright winner there. Joe, do they have a chance at being the best team in your viewpoint? And then alongside that, obviously, where would you maybe put a little coin on for the stage of elimination?
So the question is, are they the best United States men's national team ever today? The answer is no. Two games in, we can't put them in the same category as 2002. Do they have prime age players this year? Yes. Are they having good results? Yes. Are they a good team? Yes. Potentially great. But the greatest United States men's national team? No. Listen, that 2002 team was a controversial handball away from going to the semifinals. Okay. This team this year, we already said it. They're going to play Spain, most likely Spain or Portugal in the quarterfinals. They get past them? Probably not. This team has a chance to overtake 2002, but they're not even on the same street as the house that the 2002 team is on. When they get on the block, maybe we'll start talking about it, but not right now. They are not the best U.S. national team in history of the World Cup yet. But that being said, I'm going to be contrarian with my own thoughts. And with the quarterfinals being at 31%, that is not a value play, in my opinion, because they could potentially lose to Egypt or whoever else they play after they potentially beat Bosnia. I mean, they could even lose to Bosnia. So I'm predicting them to get to the quarterfinals. I see the value in them beating the Spain or Portugal team and going out in the semifinals, whoever that may be. I didn't look at past that bracket, but the semifinals, it looks like it's trading at like 19%. I see more value in the market for that play. Is it what my heart says? No, but my wallet would go that direction.
Yeah, I think Joe is the market man, and I'm more the football side of what I believe could happen. But I definitely see the value. Wouldn't make sense for the quarterfinals, which is what I think could happen. But who knows? That was a big game in 2002 when the US beat Portugal. So could it happen again? I mean, history does repeat itself. So that would be very exciting. But yeah, Spain, Portugal, if it goes how, the bracket predicts, then it looks like they'll be playing them in the quarterfinal.
Yeah. No, I'm with you guys here. I mean, to call them the best U.S. men's national team right now would be ridiculous, and it would be ignorant and disrespectful to the 2002 team. Now, that doesn't mean that the ceiling isn't currently higher for this group, given what's at stake in the narrative about having this home field advantage and just hosting it. Obviously, if all those things coincide and they at least reach the quarterfinals, then sure, based on the dominance in the group play and what may happen afterwards, it could absolutely be up for debate. but that's still a long way to go. And of course, you
Mhm.
can voice your opinion on how far that is to go there at Calci with the USA stage of elimination. Joey, looking at the quarterfinals there, 32% or plus 198 American odds, and much more down the line, which you can trade on. So a lot more will be talked about when it comes to the USA, and we'll find out after their match with Turkey as well what we can expect for this team going forward. And if that hype continues, how can it not? They're already making it out of the group stage, but going to be exciting nonetheless. Joe, Maya, what also is going to be extremely exciting is to see who's going to end up at the top for the most goals in this World Cup. Now, I'm not talking directly with the Golden Boot. We have had our discussions with that. But I'm talking directly with Mbappe and Messi. I mean, these players have just been absolutely going off the first couple of matches. And that's no surprise, but it's just they've really lived up to the expectation and then some. Messi obviously began with a hat trick, then tacked on 2 more. So he has 5. He's leading the World Cup. Mbappe's not far behind, just 1 less with 4 goals so far. Argentina has a match with Jordan next. Jordan's allowed 5 goals through 2 games, so maybe another opportunity for Messi to pad some of those stats. France going up against a bit more of a difficult matchup in Norway, who have allowed just 3 goals through 2 games. Mbappe still trading now at 51% over Messi to have more goals. Messi now at 47%. Think they tie, which, good luck on betting that. I think, as fun as it would be to take the plus 1462, I think someone's going to separate themselves. You also have to consider, obviously, which nation you expect to go further. Joe, I know you've talked about this ad nauseum when we've talked about Golden Boot, and it seems like you've had your stake in Mbappe. Despite the start with Messi, do you still think Mbappe's the guy to make it further just because of how dominant France is and the value would be with him in this market?
So I've said it before, like you said, I have a ticket in Mbappe for Golden Boot. I mapped out this tournament. I got them going all the way to the finals. I like a team that's going to play the most games. Yes, Messi's Argentina team can make it to the finals too. They're a strong team. I just feel like France has a better shot at that. My other 2 points are Mbappe's younger. It's a long tournament. It's a lot of games in 6 weeks. Listen, Messi's the GOAT. There's no question about it. We're not debating that. Does he have the opportunity to score? But Mbappe's going to be more fit, younger, and I like his chances to create more goals than Messi may be given in front of him, where Messi may have a quicker move or a better, stronger leg than Messi in certain situations. I mapped it out. I like Mbappe now. Then I like Mbappe now.
Maya, how about you?
Yeah, this is actually a really, really fun market. I mean, I watched Argentina play the other day, and it was unbelievable. I mean, Messi, he walks around for majority of the game. He just walks around, really doesn't make any exertion of energy over what he needs to do, and then scores 2. And I've watched him do it in other World Cups as well. It's really unbelievable. But Mbappe has scored 16 goals in 16 World Cup matches. Every single game. Messi has played 28 matches to get to 18. So you're looking at pure efficiency. It's not close. I think Mbappe is the more ruthless scoring machine in this format. And you look at the bracket. I mean, France as Group I winners get a 3rd place team in the round of 32. It's like one of the weakest possible draws you can get in the tournament, which is essentially free hit at goal for Mbappe before the serious rounds even begin. And I think that Argentina have already secured the top spot in their group. Like Joe said, Messi's a little bit on the older side. I think that he's probably going to be managing his minutes, and Mbappe is going to be full throttle. He won't be rested. He won't be managed. He's running through this tournament. I think Messi, that's not to say 5 in 2 games. It's obscene. It's a hat trick against Algeria, brace against Austria at 38 years old. It's ridiculous. But the path, the age, the hunger, I think it's virtually a coin toss. And I agree with Joe. I'm with Mbappe all day.
Yeah, I mean, again, you look at this price, not separated too much. I mean, minus 112 American odds for Mbappe, Messi plus 101. But it really comes down to if you think they're going to stay relatively on this trajectory, which we're pretty much expecting. France is the better team right now, is what the market's telling you. So then, given the fact that it's not that much of a separation in this market, and if you don't mind having patience and waiting for your investment, I agree with you guys. It's got to be Mbappe. And I love Messi. Treated me great in the last World Cup. Won me a futures ticket. And obviously, Joe, you were joking about betting Mbappe 2+ goals. Like, that's what, every trader, every bettor, everybody's been caking on Haaland, on Messi and Mbappe. So we love our Messi. We love cashing in on that. But Mbappe just a little bit more reliable, it seems, especially with the youth in that path. I completely see that angle. So either way, it's going to continue to be a fun discussion. And yeah, can't wait to see what both of these players have in store in their next match. But of course, our attention, guys, is going to be focused on today and today's daily call with Germany and Ecuador. Over 2.5 goals is what the team at Called It is riding with and utilizing for the challenge. The Run taking $250, looking to flip that through 12 trades and turn it all the way to a measly $1 million. No big deal. Pot's at $510 right now. That is being put on the over 2.5 goals, traded at 56%. Currently, it's at 60%. But Joe's on the side of it. I'm siding with it. Maya going a bit contrarian, but hey, someone's got to, so we love it. But make sure you follow Maya on Instagram, Maya.pitchside, Joe at JoeBusiness273 on X. Maya, enjoy the game tomorrow. Is there last second thoughts here? I know maybe you don't have the numbers in front of you. If you don't, that's okay. But just in your gut feeling, what do you think is going to happen in the match where you're attending tomorrow with Iran and Egypt?
Egypt have a few players that I'm really excited to watch. I shouldn't say because I'm a United fan, but Marmoush from Man City, he's class. You have Mo Salah, of course, but Iran have quite a strong team as well, and this potential USA-Iran, I know you spoke about it on here as well, this potential US-Iran matchup down the line could be a very, very spicy one. So I think that Egypt might get the win tomorrow. Yeah, but it's gonna be a good game. There's some quality in both teams.
Yeah, no question about it. 40% is what Egypt is trading at. We will have Maya live on the scene. Can't wait to see plenty more of that content. And Joe, appreciate your insight as always, my friend. Again, make sure to follow them on their social media channels and make sure to follow the team at Called It, www.calledit.media. There you can enter your email address. It's completely free and you get ahead of what we're talking about here on the record because you can voice your opinion on the record, see how you stack up against the rest of the community. But you can also get the trade before it completely alters in the market, which we witnessed today, a little bit yesterday as well. But over 2.5 Ecuador and Germany, that's what the sweat is going to be on for the challenge of the Run. That's going to be another edition for On The Record for all of us here at our team. We appreciate you tuning in. We hope you have an amazing day. Best of luck with all your trades. We will see you tomorrow for another edition of On The Record.